I am a composer, performer, and conductor. I developed in particular a compositional approach based on the contact with instruments. So I've learned the basic technique of all the instruments that I've used in order to create some kind of sometimes also quite complex preparations. I've collected in this year like my own garden of sounds. So I had some specific gestures and specific sounds. I also recorded almost all my pieces myself. I was interested like in this kind of limitation in a way that I was using only what I was able to play. That was the compositional filter in a way. Almost all my pieces, there are two versions, like one video version, and then there is the instrumental version. So, and for me, it's interesting this friction between these two versions because sometimes it's very different. You know, it's like questioning also the problematic of interpretation. My approach changed a lot because I started to conduct exactly that. It's like a bit this idea of still having contact with the sounds, but with a bit more distance. So not anymore playing everything, but having like a different perspective on the sound. I had maybe my most happy musical experiences by doing concerts, conducting. So it's like a transition from my very isolated world to the real life in a way. With the performer, I feel a lot of empathy because I am a performer too. And in general, I love to try to see the music through their eyes, you know? And this is one of the main reasons why I love to learn also the basic technique, but this gives me the possibility to understand how they live, how they see the music. It's a piece about the dualism of water. So as a vital and a death element, it's quite a dualistic piece in general because there are two lullabies. One lullaby is very personal, very private that no one knows, and maybe is my first musical memory. And the other is the lullaby. I used for the first time field recordings, so there is like the outside world, and there is this kind of changing in the perception of listening outside and inside water, and then in the between. So, and that when you go underwater, you perceive a lot your internal dimension, your body. I don't search for only interesting sounds. So for me, a sound it's interesting when it has a concept. The instruments go underwater, and then they go out and they are completely transformed because before there is like the childhood of the instruments. When they go out, they transform and they became the professional instruments. So the ukulele became a viola, and the music box and harp, and so on. I'm so curious to understand what happened in the head when we do music, you know, and because I observe this from the perspective of composer, but also of playing music, conducting music. So when you conduct, it's so important what you are thinking, what you are when you imagine the sound. I spend sometimes a lot of months, sometimes years to composing. I love to take a lot of time, and but then I really love to share. This possibility for me is very important, and so sometimes I waited 2, 3 years before having the real performance. And for this reason, I do my video sometimes, and I put in YouTube. And then it's something like a reverse because it's from the internet. Then I have the possibility to have the real performance. So this is what I like.